Welcome back to another video, and today we'll be building the SHERP ATV. This ATV is quite special, since it is a very big wheeled vehicle. Only 2 wheels. I mean 4 wheels with very little spacing in between them. It is an off-road and amphibious vehicle for all-terrain, and I thought I could make this pretty easy. We'll be using this one as my reference photo, and let's get started. It seems we'll be using the car seat again. Well, we need to figure out what we want our reference to be. We'll also have the tank steering. We'll be using the monster truck wheel for this, since it is the most like the SHERP's wheels. So, one here, and then maybe a stud of space in between. This looks fine. Because of how it looks, we'll be doing a 4-block distance. Let's see if that's 4 blocks. It is! Yay. And so because this is a vehicle that... Actually, let's make this a little wider. 2 blocks more wider. Because it does indeed look to me that the SHERP ATV can hold 2 people in the front. So it is quite wide. So that's something that we're gonna have to go for. So I'll place this here, and another one passenger seat, and then the steering mechanism right here. We need to connect these. And then we should be good. Now this looks about right. We forgot to put this block here. That's not connected. So we can connect this together, and then... I need an engine. Oopsie. So we're gonna go with the Triton engine for this one, since it needs to go underwater. And appears the tank steering is working. That doesn't look right. Why isn't tank steering working? Oh, no, my tank steering works. Not very well, it seems. Wonder why. All the wheels appear to be front moving. Let's see, tank steering mechanism. We're gonna put the speed all the way up, steering help all the way down. And now... whatever, we can deal with this. So we'll have 2 Triton engines, and then 2 Dragon engines to be our speedy monster. That can also be amphibious. But our seat is not amphibious. That's right. Oops. Well, this thing can float in the IRL, so we'll be putting some floaties on this thing. Since these blocks cannot fully support themselves, they will need support from their buddies at floaties.com. We'll be giving them floaties as supports, and it appears that we'll have to move these. Floaties, floaties, floaties. Alright. Float block, go here. Then we'll have a couple of these medium pontoons in the back. We'll have 1 in the back, and then 1 in the front. Hopefully that doesn't interfere with anything. And now we should be able to float. We cannot float. I wonder why. Because all our mass is up there. Great. Well, we can replace some of these blocks with the floaty pieces. And then we should be fine. Moving the floaties down here can help us rearrange our mass and keep us afloat, while also not killing us in the process. You might also be wondering, why tank steering? Well, tank steering is what is officially supported by the SHERP ATV brand. So, the SHERP ATVs only do this kind of build. They only do that kind of steering. Tank steering. So, yeah, the SHERP ATV can only do tank steering. It can't do any normal steering, it appears. Why is that happening? Is it because of this? What can I do to avoid that? Move the normal engines. It also appears that my audio is chopping out. I want to make this functional first before I actually do anything to it. major changes, but it appears I can't do that very well. 2 of these will be here. I'll be moving Triton engines to the mid-section, changing this and these two, to another floaty, and will hopefully make us float. Now the thing is, we don't have propulsion, and the wheels don't give us propulsion, unlike the SHERP ATV. So we're gonna have to give ourselves some propulsion ourselves. And that will be in the form of a underwater propeller in the center. Hopefully that doesn't cause us any problems. On normal land, and perfect, it doesn't. Now we need to change the controls, W, S, and we should be done with our base body. Now the sad thing is, we've lost our engines, so we need to get those back, and then we shall be ready. Now we got tank steering vehicle, no suspension, as looks to be of the SHERP ATV. We are going to have this long front side, which appears to be a 3x4 at the front. And that's going to be there, with a side of 3x1s sides. Right about there. Now, the SHERP ATV looks a bit odd. Yes, this is going to keep on continuing to the top side. You know what? We're going to change this to 4x4s. That looks just a little better. And that will also help us with angles further on. Angles, angles, angles. We're going to have to lift this thing up just a little bit. And there. This is what our SHERP ATV is going to look like. Now we need to connect this. Connect this how? Like this. Easy. Now if this vehicle ever comes in contact with a war or something, yeah, it's going to be screwed. These things are too tall. Bam. We're going to change these to the submarine seats. Yeah. No. What do we have? We have no, that's even taller. We have the go-kart seats, the worst seat in history of Trailmakers, but we are using it today, because it is like 2 times more shorter than it is in the build, so we can use that to our advantage. We'll be using the 1x4s on the sides, and we can use this like that. Just like the SHERP ATV, we now have a support for the newly found ceiling, which will be using a similar type ceiling like this, but we'll be changing these to blocks instead of the hood. Since the hood doesn't give us a complete what? It doesn't give us full control. We're gonna have to do something new. Do we have that block? No, we don't. Never mind, we will be using that hood block, because none of these are long enough. Except this one, no, this one's too wide. What about one? No. That's just the same block. Okay, yes, we will be using the hood block instead of the normal block that we were going to use. But the hood block is a little stubby and short, so we have nothing going for it at this point. You know what? We're gonna be using the 2x4 wedge corner thing. Okay, I think this is fine. Twist this, change that to sides, leave it a little overhang, and bam. That's not the right shape. Bam. Still not the right shape. Bam. That's the right shape right there. 2x4 here, and then another 2x4 right above it. And then we have ourselves an ATV. Now the problem with this is the edges are hanging off, but that is a good thing, since now we can move these just one block wider, and then we have ourselves a one block wider vehicle. No guarantees that this will work any better than before, but now we can make the walls for this thing. This horrifying thing. This horrifying object of reality. Now, like this, we can make a cutoff near the end, leaving the back end flat. Then we can add a hood onto the top. And there you go. Now we have the ceiling for this vehicle, the SHERP ATV. Now we gotta do the sides and back. We can do the back end first. First we'll flip that up to leave a nice flat decal. The end does end in a triangle-ish shape. It is a very triangle shape. I do have a couple ideas for how to close this off. That's weird. Delete this, delete that. Since we won't be needing that. Then what we can do is we can place another one of these 4x4s. Cover this wall up. Place this here. And bam. Test drive. Oh. Uneven weight, it seems. So all of our weight is top, so if we accelerate too fast, we will have trouble. So I'll be removing one of these dragon engines. And let us drive in the waters. We seem to have problems that can always be fixed with the gyro stabilizer. Due to this being an aesthetic build rather than a technical build, we can always just plop some of those on there, since I don't think any of the floaty blocks can fit inside the... never mind. Well, to make up for whatever problem I had before, I'll plop these on here, just like this. Move this around. And here we go. A perfect fitting block. Now, copy this up here, and then we gotta fill this in the front. And that can be filled in with a... You know what? Just do this. That looks a lot better, and it's perfect for a build, since when we widened it, it needed that extra space. Kind of. Now near the top, it starts shrinking down to a corner in the edge here, and that's what we will be doing. Now this appears to be a wedge shape, but we'll be using the 4x1 sides, giving us that perfect edge shape as we go on to become the Dragon Master. There we go. That kind of works. Sadly, we don't have the corner edge here for this nice transition, so this will have to do. Copy this to the other side. Then we can edge off. Then we can leave this edge off with a wall. Where'd that wall go? There it is. Bam. Now, for this 3x3 wall, we can have a 6x2 block right here. And then a 2x2 right between this gap. Then all we need to do is fill in this hole with a pipe. Just like this. And There you go. Problem solved. Now copy this to the other side. There we go. Now bottom down here, we have a issue. I don't know how to solve this issue, other than try to fill it in with the block. That appears to be a 3 by something hole, so we can fill it in like this. A 3. Pop it in there. Then we need a 4 by 1 down here. Copy that all over to the other side. Now we need to put the covers on over the wheels, which we can do by lowering these wheels just a tad bit, and then putting some of these smaller blocks, like one of these, on the sides, acting as a small axle that does not move, as the wheels move by themselves. We can build this. A cover over the wheels. Now there are a couple wheel wells we could try, but as seen before, over the wheels we can put a kind of hood over them. Now it appears that it is flat in between here, and then over the edges they have a sort of edge. So we will go for this look, as they spread over the top of the block like this, and then it goes over and under into this slot right here. You know what? I can't fit anything here, so we'll just leave the covers right over the wheels. No problemo. That's just a-okay in the world of building. This could be possible if I did glitches, but I'm not going to, since I don't want to deal with glitches today. Shall copy this over to the other side, and bam. Does it still float? Yes, indeed. Now we grab one of those gyro stabilizers, stick them in, turn them all to max, and then you can plop one of these in here. Not these in here to assist with the steering. Since the steering had problems before, we can do this to 3.5. Exit out. And now we should have steering and no weight problems whatsoever. It appears that we do indeed need more float power. How do I do that? We can delete these. Cover these up with the 3 by... Where's that 3 by 1? 3 by 1. Cover them all up. Cover it up. Once you cover up a scene that caused you to go to jail. Marine. Small pontoon. Place them up here. Then you place a couple of those small pontoons right here and here. This should help a little bit with the weight distribution, but it cannot help completely, since you need just a bit more, like this, and you should be completely even. If you're not, delete that. And put some more of these small pontoons until it completely equalizes out. And if you don't want to deal with that, then what you can do is you go back inside, copy this to the side, turn this one down to 5, because we all want to be symmetrical. Copy it to the other side, and there we go. If you want to make this any faster, copy this, duplicate that. Then you should have a little faster build. And turn on your aerodynamics. Go to your streamlining blocks and put some wedges. What these wedges do is to make your aerodynamics in the water a lot better. Copy these, flip these, make them to the other side, and bam! You have better aerodynamics. Now in the center here, you can see that we have missed a block. You shove this in there, you shove this in here, and no aerodynamic problems at all. If you do inherently want to fix some of these aerodynamics, what you can do is you go grab one of these 2x4 or 4x4 or 3x4. Actually, grab a 3x4, stick it up in there, and bam. What you're gonna do here, though, is you're gonna get 2x4, stick it in front, if you don't like the arrow. It has given me a couple more miles per hour, but has drastically made my vehicle sink even deeper. And to be more realistic to the water driving, we're probably gonna have to lift this thing up a little. Let me look at the photo of the thing driving in the water, and it appears to be at axle level. So what we'll need to do is we're gonna have to lighten this, and that can be accomplished a couple ways. First way, we remove some blocks. Now, removing some blocks may cause some complicated problems around here, like block dislocation and aerodynamic issues. But in our case here, we don't have that problem. As now, you see it bobs up and down, and we are just a little bit closer to the axle. But another thing you can do is either increase the amount of pontoons, or you can grab a cheating block, a gimbal jet. Now these gimbal jets, they are kind of technically cheating, since they do make your vehicle lighter. They do not help with the pontoon. So what we'll do is we'll have this power off, no inputs, then you will grab a NOR block right here, stick this NOR block somewhere where you don't have an issue with aerodynamics, say here, and then you stick these gimbal jets like this, and now you'll go to that NOR gate, and then turn on these gimbal jets. Now, you should have a slightly lighter vehicle. See where it lays. Slightly higher. But the thing is, these don't do that much. So, we're gonna place a couple more. And we can have that said NOR block, NOR gate, and then highlight all these gimbal jets, And then also remove a couple gimbal jets, because this is causing us to fly. Remove one at a time until you feel that you are not going to fly anymore. That's too much. Gotta remove another one. Still a little bit much. So we're gonna remove another one. Not that plate. We're gonna remove this one. This one to be up there. Now we have a vehicle that lays slightly in the water. It should have no problem whatsoever. Land. Since it doesn't fly anymore, it's slightly weightless. It is like slightly weightless. And I'm assuming in real life it should be that weightless. Since of how it looks. Though it does have a problem. It has a problem with traction. And so, that Norgate will have a distance sensor. Now, what this distance sensor will do is, when it senses ground, it will activate. And that said activation will cause this to what was I saying? Oh yeah, this block right here will activate the sequence in which, if it sees the ground within a meter, a 1 block meter, it will trigger this NOR gate, causing us to not fly anymore. As you can see, there's no more air coming out the bottom. If you observed before, when we're in the water, see that, there's air. When the vehicle is off the ground, or in the water, it will activate. But when the vehicle is within a meter, it will remove that flight and keep it stable on the ground. Now this will keep us stable and have maximum acceleration and grip on the ground. No issues whatsoever. Spinning in place just fine. There is the perfect vehicle. Now what we'll have to do is paint it up. Alright, I am finished painting things up. Now look at this beauty. The ATV works just the same. Perfectly painted, and it works perfectly fine in water. Maybe even better. Bam. It works beautifully. It's just like it's working in real life. That's gonna be it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.